The death of Nelson Mandela. Let's start with the one that gave this whole phenomenon its name. In 2009, people all over the world started reporting a bizarre memory that Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, had died in prison during the 1980s. Not just a vague feeling. People remembered watching his funeral on TV. They remembered newscasters, public mourning, tributes, all for a man who was very much alive at the time and went on to become president in 1994. So how did this become so widespread? There were no satirical reports, no hoaxes that explain it, just pure collective confusion. This is where the term Mandela Effect was born, coined by paranormal researcher Fiona Broom. She had that same false memory, and when she spoke about it publicly, she discovered thousands of others who remembered the same thing. Was it a mental mix-up, or did we slip from one timeline to another? The Berenstein Bears. Ask anyone what they grew up reading, and they'll probably say the Berenstein Bears, with an E. That's how most of us remember it. But that's not what the books say now. Look at any official copy. It's the Berenstein Bears, with an A. People swear they remember the spelling differently, to the point that some believe the books have been altered in some way. But no, it's always been Berenstain. This one hits hard because it was part of our childhood. You don't misremember the name of a book series you stared at on your bookshelf for years, right? Some argue it's a simple phonetic mix-up. Stein sounds more familiar to our ears. But others insist they saw the "ian" spelling and that something about this change just doesn't sit right. Is it faulty memory? Or a sign we jumped timelines sometime after the 90s? Luke, I am your father. Here's one that practically rewrote pop culture. If you've ever quoted Star Wars, you probably said it. Luke, I am your father. It's one of the most iconic movie lines of all time. Except, it's wrong. The actual line Darth Vader says in The Empire Strikes Back is, "No, I am your father." That's it. No Luke. And yet, generations of fans, diehard ones included, remember the line differently. It's been spoofed, referenced, and parodied endlessly with the wrong quote. So how did we all get it wrong? Maybe because adding Luke gives it clarity out of context. But for many, this is more than a misquote. It feels like the movie itself changed. It makes you wonder, if even our most famous memories can't be trusted, what else have we gotten wrong? Mirror, mirror on the wall. Let's take a trip back to Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. You remember the evil queen standing in front of her magical mirror and saying, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" Classic line, right? Engraved into our minds from childhood. Except that's not what she says. The real line is, "Magic mirror on the wall. Go ahead, check the original 1937 film. It's always been that way." So how did the wrong line become so iconic? Some blame the retellings, books, cartoons, pop culture references, but still, it's strange how universally the incorrect version is remembered. It's like there's a shadow version of reality where mirror, mirror was real. And somehow, that memory bled into ours. The Monopoly Man. Close your eyes and picture the Monopoly Man. Top hat, tuxedo, cane, and of course, a monocle, right? Now open your eyes because he doesn't have one. He never had one. Not in the official game, not in any version of the artwork. Just a simple top hat and mustache guy, monocle-free. People confuse him with Mr. Peanut or maybe the Pringles mascot, but still, the mental image of a monocle is so vivid that this one really throws people off. Some theorists suggest it's because we associate monocles with wealthy, old-fashioned characters, and our brains just filled in the blank. But once again, millions remember it wrong, and so confidently. This one makes you question how much of your memory is actually just assumptions your brain made up and decided to store as truth. Pikachu's tail. The black tip. Any 90s kid will tell you what Pikachu looks like. Yellow body, red cheeks, lightning bolt tail, and a little black tip at the end of that tail, right? Except, nope, Pikachu's tail has never had a black tip. The ears do, sure, but the tail? Solid yellow. This Mandela effect messes with fans deeply because we've seen the character on cards, cartoons, lunchboxes, and video games. People even drew Pikachu with the black tail tip in fan art for years, and yet somehow we all got it wrong. There's even debate among Pokemon communities, with people digging through vintage merch hoping to prove the black-tipped version once existed. But official images say otherwise. Either everyone's memory is flawed, or someone went back in time and erased a stripe off Pikachu's tail. Kit Kat. Let's talk candy bars. Kit Kat. Or is it Kit Kat? You probably remember the hyphen, right? It feels right. Balanced. Symmetrical. But no, there's no dash. It's just Kit Kat. One word, no hyphen, and it's never had one. Look at the packaging from the beginning. It's always been this way. And yet, people argue with actual photos in their hand. The reason it messes with people is because we're conditioned to expect a hyphen in compound words. Kit and cat feel like two parts, so our brains insert that little line. But the depth of certainty people have about the dash is staggering. Again, you ask yourself, are we really misremembering something so simple, or is something else going on? We Are the Champions. Queen's legendary anthem, We Are the Champions, has a grand stadium-shaking finish, right? We are the champions of the world. Except that last line, it's not in the final chorus. The song ends on We Are the Champions, and then just stops. No final of the world. People freak out when they go back and listen. It's missing. But here's the twist. The line does appear earlier in the song. It's just not in the ending. So why do we all think that's how it ends? Some blame the Mandela Effect. Others say it's because Queen often added the line during live performances, like at Live Aid. So maybe we absorbed those performances instead of the original track. But still, that feeling of, wait, what? Never goes away. Hello, Clarice. This one might break your movie-loving heart. You remember that chilling line from The Silence of the Lambs? Hannibal Lecter's calm, sinister voice greeting Clarice with, "Hello, Clarice." It's become an icon. It's been quoted endlessly in movies, sitcoms, Halloween costumes, except it never happened. That exact phrase doesn't appear anywhere in the movie. Go back and rewatch the scene. What he actually says is a simple, "Good morning." That's it. Yet somehow, "Hello, Clarice" became the line everyone remembers. Why? Well, it feels like what Lecter would say. It fits the vibe. It's eerily perfect. Some say the 2001 sequel, Hannibal, features a similar line, and that pop culture mashed it together retroactively. But even so, this Mandela Effect shows how a completely fictional quote can embed itself so deeply in the collective memory that it becomes more real than the truth. The Golden C-3PO. This one will catch even die-hard Star Wars fans off guard. Picture C-3PO, the iconic humanoid droid. Sleek, shiny, all gold, right? That's how he's always looked, or so we thought. But in A New Hope, 1977, C-3PO actually had a silver right leg from the knee down. Yes, really. You can see it in promotional photos, in the movie itself, and even in original action figures. But many fans, including ones who grew up watching the movie dozens of times, never noticed. How is that possible? Some blame lighting and reflection, saying it was easy to miss. Others argue it's just another Mandela Effect, where we've all been living with a revised memory that doesn't line up with reality. Either way, once you see the silver leg, you can't unsee it, and it's incredibly unsettling. Mickey Mouse's Suspenders. If you had to draw Mickey Mouse from memory, chances are you'd give him red shorts, big white gloves, yellow shoes, and suspenders. Right? That's how most people remember him, especially the vintage Mickey from classic animations. But here's the thing. Mickey has never officially worn suspenders. No straps, no buttons at the shoulders, just those red shorts with 2 buttons on the front. It's such a widespread memory that people argue about it, swearing they saw the suspenders in old cartoons or coloring books. But Disney archives say otherwise. So why do we remember them? Maybe because it just makes sense visually. His look feels like it should include them. But the truth is, this version of Mickey never existed, at least not in this timeline. The Flinstones. Here's another one that messes with your childhood. The name of the iconic prehistoric cartoon family. Is it the Flinstones or the Flintstones? If you said the first one, you're not alone. Millions of people remember Flinstones with no first T. But look at the title. It's the Flintstones, as in flint, a type of rock, which makes sense, given the Stone Age theme. But the strange thing is that extra T seems to have vanished in our memories. It doesn't sound like there's a T when you say it aloud, so maybe our brains just trimmed it off. But again, it's the collective confidence people have in the wrong version that gives it Mandela Effect status. People don't just misremember it, They're sure it was spelled differently, and they feel a sense of unease when they see the correct version, like something subtle in the timeline has shifted without warning. Febreeze. If you've ever freshened up a room or tried to hide the smell of something questionable, you've probably reached for a bottle of Febreeze. You can picture it right now, can't you? A light blue spray bottle with the word Febreeze, double E, right there in the middle. Except, that's wrong. It's actually spelled Febreeze, with only one E. And for many people, that's downright disturbing. The breeze part just feels right. It makes sense phonetically and visually. So why does the label say otherwise? Some chalk it up to clever branding, breeze, shortened to stand out. But others feel like this is yet another case of a reality quietly shifting while we weren't paying attention. What's especially unsettling is how confidently people will correct you, only to grab the bottle and freeze when they see that single E. It's a tiny change, but it cuts deep because it shows how much we take our daily surroundings for granted. Looney Tunes. This one confuses even the most loyal Saturday morning cartoon lovers. Say the name out loud, Looney Tunes, right? As in cartoons. That's how you remember it spelled. That's how it should be spelled. But the correct spelling? Looney Tunes, with a U, as in music tunes. And that makes zero sense to most people because it's a cartoon show, not a musical. So why would Warner Brothers name it Tunes? Some say it was a nod to the musical shorts that originally ran with the animations, tying it to merry melodies. But most viewers never picked up on that. Instead, they saw wacky characters, slapstick gags, and classic cartoon chaos. So Tunes feels natural, logical, but it's not real. And the fact that so many of us filled in the correct spelling with the wrong one shows just how much our brains are willing to rewrite history to make things feel right. The fruit of the loom, cornucopia that never was. Here's a fashion one, and it might genuinely blow your mind. Picture the logo for Fruit of the Loom, the underwear and clothing brand. You see a pile of fruit, grapes, apples, leaves, and behind them a brown cornucopia, right? That horn-shaped wicker basket holding it all together? Yeah, that never existed, ever. There has never been a cornucopia in the official Fruit of the Loom logo, not in any version, not in vintage ads, not on any tag or packaging. And yet, for millions of people, the cornucopia is the defining element of the logo. Some have even drawn it from memory. Others claim they saw it on old packaging growing up. But it's simply not there. This one cuts deep because the cornucopia isn't just a detail. It's a centerpiece in our memory. And now that it's gone, we're left wondering how something so clear could be completely false. Curious George. Let's talk about one of the most beloved mischievous monkeys of all time, Curious George. You've probably seen him swing from trees, hang from balloons, or dangle by his tail. Except that last part never happened. Because Curious George has never had a tail. Not in the books, not in the TV shows, not in the illustrations. And yet, people all over the world remember him with one. Why? Probably because monkeys do have tails, especially the kind of monkey George is modeled after. So our brains, in a rush to categorize what we see, just added the tail in. But once again, it's not just a small mistake. People feel sure. They picture him hanging upside down by his tail in countless scenarios. But when you check the source, that tail is missing, and always has been. Another subtle crack in what we thought was a stable childhood memory. Oscar Meyer. You might remember the catchy jingle, "My Bologna has a first name, it's Oscar," and the rest just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? But how do you spell Meyer? Is it Oscar Meyer or Oscar Mayer? If you guessed the second one, you're right, but a lot of people would bet money on the first. The confusion comes from the pronunciation. Meyer is how it sounds, and for years people sang it that way, reinforcing the incorrect spelling in their minds. But the packaging has always said Meyer. This one feels like a brain short circuit. You trusted a song from your childhood, you've sung it for years, and yet the reality doesn't line up. It's such a minor detail, but it breaks that comforting link between memory and truth. The Skechers. Skechers, the well-known footwear brand, is another Mandela minefield. Most people remember it being spelled Skechers with a T, like you're sketching something. It just looks right, feels right. But the real spelling is Skechers, no T. And no, it's not a new change. It's always been spelled that way. The logo, the shoe boxes, the ads, they all confirm it. So how did we all imagine an extra letter into existence? Some think it's because the word sketch is familiar, and we assumed it extended naturally into the brand name. Others believe it's just another example of a minor inconsistency that signals something deeper, like a corrupted line of code in the simulation we call reality. Whatever the reason, it's yet another reminder that even the simplest words might not be what they seem. The North Pole's missing ice cap. Here's a chilling one, no pun intended. Some people remember learning that the North Pole was covered in a massive solid ice cap, not just sea ice, but a permanent stable landmass similar to Antarctica. They remember it being there on globes and world maps. But today, the North Pole has no landmass. It's entirely ocean, covered in floating sea ice that changes with the seasons. This one's particularly odd because it isn't about a brand or a name. It's about the planet. Could it be that people are confusing it with the South Pole? Maybe. But some argue that their memory is so vivid and shared by so many that it feels like more than just a mistake. Could global warming be the explanation? Maybe. But to the people experiencing the Mandela effect, the explanation feels hollow. It's not about ice melting, it's about land vanishing. So what's going on here? The Mandela effect isn't just one or two people misremembering something. It's millions of people sharing the same wrong memory. Some chalk it up to quirks in human psychology, false memories, suggestion, cognitive bias. But others, they wonder if something bigger is at play. Parallel universes, timeline shifts, a glitch in the simulation. Maybe we'll never know for sure. But one thing's clear. Next time you're absolutely sure about a childhood memory, don't be. Reality might be glitchier than you think. Now I want to hear from you. Which one of these Mandela effects got you? Personally, I totally remember Pikachu having a black-tipped tail, and the Monopoly guy with a monocle. If this messed with your head even a little, share it with someone and see what they remember. And hey, don't forget to subscribe. This rabbit hole only goes deeper.